Welcome to today's deep dive. We've got a single, clear mission for you today.
Yeah, to completely reframe how you process your own life's challenges.
Exactly. And your personal mistakes, too. We're pulling our insights today from a genuinely thought-provoking Substack post.
From March 2026, right?
Yeah, March 2026 from Joyful Headspace. It's titled, Earth is a Spiritual School, Not a Courtroom.
Which is just it's a massive perspective shift, particularly if you are the kind of person who tends to be your own harshest critic.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core premise is right there in the title, you know? Life is not actually putting you on trial.
Right, there's no cosmic jury
No jury keeping a silent tally of every time you mess up.
or some final verdict waiting for you at the end of the line. What's fascinating here is the alternative the author offers.
The classroom idea.
Exactly. If Earth isn't a courtroom, it's a living classroom for the soul. And when you view your life through that lens, mistakes are no longer failures. They're actually invitations to learn.
The text mentions that these invitations arrive softly, through our relationships and through what it calls seasons of becoming and unbecoming.
Unbecoming is such an interesting word there.
Right, but before we get into the poetry of that, what does unbecoming actually mean for someone in practical terms?
Think of unbecoming simply as unlearning. It's that messy process of dismantling the bad habits or the defensive walls.
Or limiting beliefs you've built up over the years?
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. If Earth isn't a courtroom,
How do we hold ourselves accountable?
right, does the text suggest we just let ourselves off the hook whenever we do something wrong?
Not at all. It's not about avoiding accountability. It's about removing the shame. The source maps out a very specific progression. Life will gently return the exact same lesson to you over and over until compassion replaces your resistance.
Awareness replaces your reaction.
And love replaces your fear. It's sort of like failing sophomore math, except instead of algebra, the universe keeps handing you the exact same toxic, micromanaging boss until you finally learn how to set healthy boundaries.
Oh man, I think a lot of us have definitely taken that specific class.
Right, but it really changes the framing. Repeating a mistake isn't a fatal flaw in your character.
It's just a piece of the curriculum returning to your desk.
Exactly. Returning until you understand yourself deeply enough to pass, you're just being asked to pay attention without judgment.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because if we accept that we are students in this classroom, the text takes it a step further.
We aren't just passively sitting there taking notes.
Right. We are actually learning how to create. Our thoughts and our choices actively shape what grows around us.
Yes, the author draws a stark contrast between moving from a place of fear versus moving from a place of love.
So when you make choices out of fear, the text says life feels heavy and narrow.
But moving from love makes life open and breathe with you.
Let's ground that in reality. Think about a time you might have taken a job purely out of the fear of going broke.
Or falling behind.
Yeah, falling behind. You probably felt boxed in, defensive, maybe a bit miserable. That's the heavy, narrow feeling.
Versus taking a leap on a project or a role because you genuinely care about it.
Even if it's risky, it feels expansive. It breathes.
Spot on. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this entire philosophy relieves you of the exhausting pressure of perfection.
Because there is no finish line where you finally get it right and graduate.
Earth doesn't ask you to be perfect. The piece is clear. It only asks you to be awake, to be kind, and to be willing to practice. It's about presence, not a final grade.
So what does this all mean? It means that every time you meet life with an open heart and the quiet courage to choose again, you realize you were never actually on trial.
You were always just learning.
You were always just becoming.
Which leaves us with a thought to mull over long after this deep dive ends. If Earth is a school, and our repeating challenges are simply the curriculum, what happens when we view our deepest regrets not as permanent black marks on our record, but as the exact prerequisite courses we needed to pass? Think about it. Perhaps those hardest, most painful lessons weren't just for you. They might be the exact training you needed to one day turn around and help someone else through the dark.